after the whole cow incident. And I have to tell you, he was very excited by his success in the cow business, so he decided to expand, and he decided to go into the mule business. The only problem is, he didn't own a mule. So he asked around, and he discovered there was a farmer not too far away who was willing to let his mule go. So he went over to this farmer's, and he explained why he was there. And when the farmer heard this, well, he went right into negotiating mood. You know, he said, well, I don't really want to get rid of him, but, you know, if the price is right, I could see fit to letting you have him. Well, Biggie was all ready for this. He knew about negotiating. He said, yeah, truth is, I don't really need a mule. I said, but, you know, I heard you were hoping to get rid of it, and I thought I'd help you out by taking it off your hands. If the price is right, of course. Well, this is how the negotiations went back and forth for a while, and finally they settled on a price, $40 for the mule. They shook hands, and the farmer took Biggie out to the barn where the mule was tied up. But when they got there, they found the mule lying flat on its back, all four legs straight up in the air, stone dead. The farmer said, Biggie, I'm really sorry. You came all this way to buy a mule, and now I don't have one to sell you. He's dead. And Biggie was quite disappointed. He was excited about getting into the mule business, and he just kept staring at the mule, and finally he said, Farmer, you were going to charge me $40 for that mule. He said, what would you charge me for a dead mule? The farmer said, Biggie, you don't want a dead mule. It's no good to anybody. Biggie said, well, you know, if the price is right, I could take it off your hands. Now the farmer, he didn't really want to take advantage of Biggie. Everybody knew Biggie, you know, didn't always understand what was going on. On the other hand, he was asking for it, and if Biggie bought the mule, then the farmer wouldn't have to bury it. So he said, you can have him for $10, Biggie. Biggie said, it's a deal. And they shook hands, and that was that. Now, Biggie had planned to walk the mule home. And mules can be stubborn, but this one was going to be more stubborn than usual. So he borrowed a wagon from the farmer, and between the two of them, they heaved that mule up onto the back, and Biggie walked out into the front of the wagon, and he didn't have anything to pull it, so he held on, and he started walking, and away the wagon went with him. And the farmer, he just stood there, and he watched him going and going, and he said, I've seen it all now. He said, imagine, an ass hauling ass. Well, the farmer and Biggie had made an agreement that the farmer would drop by a few days later to pick up the wagon. And during that time, he was feeling a little bad, taking advantage of Biggie like that. So he thought, when I get there, I'm going to set things right with him. But when he did get there, there was Biggie out in his yard, waving and big smile on his face. And so he walked over and he said, hey Biggie, he said, how'd you make out with that mule I sold you? Biggie said, oh, he said, I did just fine. He said, I made over $200 with that mule. What? The farmer said, Biggie, how'd you make $200 with a dead mule? Biggie said, well, when I got here, he said, I put out the word that I was selling raffle tickets for a mule, and everybody was buying them, $2 a piece. The farmer said, you sold raffle tickets for a dead mule, and people bought them. He said, don't be thick. He said, I didn't tell anybody he was dead. The farmer said, well, Biggie, you must have had quite a few people upset at you. Biggie said, well, not really. He said, only one fellow was upset at me. It was the fellow that won. And when he got here, and he explained what the problem was, I was able to appease him right away. The farmer said, well, what'd you do? He said, well, I just gave him his $2 back.